The conference hall of the Galactic Defense Council was cavernous, the kind of place that swallowed sound and echoed authority. Delegates from 100 worlds filled the tiered seats, their armored and scaled bodies glinting under the artificial sunlight. They had gathered to witness what they expected to be a human failure. "Cadets of the United Earth Fleet," intoned the towering Avroth general, his 4 eyes narrowing, "answer us truthfully. What ends a war in under 9 hours?" The room fell silent. The question was almost rhetorical. Most species had waged wars that lasted centuries, their concept of rapid conflict alien. Murmurs rippled through the alien delegates. Eden, barely 19, stood at attention, her silver uniform pristine, the badge of her rank catching the light. Beside her, Finley adjusted his neural interface and glanced at her. "Be calm," he whispered, his voice low. "They're waiting for us to panic." Eden exhaled slowly. "I know, just watch me." The Avroth general's antennae twitched impatiently. "Humans are known for their arrogance. Speak then, or be silent forever." Eden stepped forward, her boots clanging on the polished floor. Her small frame belied her presence, but there was something in her eyes, calm, unyielding, that drew the gaze of every species present. "The answer," she said, her voice steady, "is understanding." A ripple of confusion passed through the hall. One of the delegates, a 6-limbed insectoid with carapace the color of rust, snorted. "Understanding? You jest, human. Wars end with firepower, cunning, surrender. Never understanding." Eden tilted her head, a smile forming, gentle but unwavering. "You see, most species define victory as annihilation. Humans, we define victory as survival and reconciliation. We fight fiercely, yes, but we fight with the knowledge that tomorrow must be built together. That's how wars end in hours rather than centuries." Finley stepped forward, his own voice clear and precise. 9 hours. That was the length of our last engagement on Vera Prime. No starship fleet had ever succeeded so swiftly. The enemy was expecting prolonged attrition, but we offered something else. He paused, letting the suspense build, then continued. "We offered choice. We offered understanding. We showed them that surrender did not mean shame, that compromise did not mean weakness. In less than 9 hours, they laid down their weapons. Entire divisions, fleets even, surrendered. Not out of fear, but because they understood that continuing the war would serve no one." The delegates shifted, some visibly shaken. Understanding, not weapons. 9 hours, not decades. Eden's eyes scanned the hall, locking on the faces of those who had doubted them. "We humans are tenacious, yes, and yes, we have weapons that can level worlds. But the greatest power," she said, "is the ability to communicate, to connect, to see the other side as sentient. To end a war in 9 hours, you need more than firepower. You need empathy, strategy, and courage. And sometimes, all it takes is a small team with a big idea." The room went silent. Even the Avroth general, who had never smiled in centuries, seemed taken aback. He leaned forward, his mandibles clicking softly. "You speak like poets, cadets. You make a mockery of war." Finley tilted his head, the faintest smirk on his lips. "Perhaps we do. Or perhaps we've simply mastered it. And now maybe your species will consider that victory does not always require annihilation." Eden stepped back and saluted, the gesture sharp, precise. "That is our answer. That is how humans end a war in under 9 hours." A ripple of murmurs spread through the council. Some were dismissive, some incredulous, and some thoughtful. It was a dangerous silence, the kind that precedes paradigm shifts. Then, without warning, the Avroth general leaned back, his 4 eyes glinting. Perhaps there is merit in your approach, little humans. His voice carried weight, heavy with centuries of battle experience. You have given us perspective, and that is dangerous. Eden and Finley exchanged a glance. They had expected derision, perhaps even dismissal, but never acknowledgement. "What will you do with the fleet still mobilized against us?" one delegate hissed, his voice a rasping whisper. Eden's smile widened slightly. "We invite them to dialogue. We offer peace, yes, but we are ready for combat if necessary. We do not bluff. We do not beg. We simply extend the possibility of a future without war, and we are ready to fight for it if needed." The council erupted in debate, alien voices overlapping, a cacophony of disbelief and intrigue. And somewhere amidst it all, a subtle change began. Plans were reconsidered, strategies recalculated. Entire fleets that had been poised for attack paused, unsure how to respond to these small humans who dared to smile in the face of centuries-old hatred. Hours later, the vote was announced. The council, for the first time in its history, ratified a ceasefire, effective immediately. Entire war plans were scrapped, fleets recalled, and communications opened for negotiation. Eden and Finley walked out of the council hall together, the corridor empty save for the soft hum of the ship's systems. "You think they'll hold to it?" Finley asked. Eden shrugged, her gaze on the distant stars streaking past. "They will try, and that's all we can ask. Sometimes, all it takes is showing the universe that humans fight differently. Not less, just differently." Finley laughed softly. "So we really can end a war in under 9 hours, huh?" Eden's smile was quiet, almost secret. "We already did." And as their ship slipped into the black expanse, leaving behind the echoes of shocked delegates and halted fleets, one thing was certain. Humans had rewritten the rules of war, not with overwhelming force, nor with trickery, nor with fear, but with courage, empathy, and an unshakable belief that understanding was stronger than annihilation. The galaxy would never forget the day the cadets smiled,